Now, on Tyra, the most talked about girl on Top Model, was not born a girl. You still have the part.
I didn't have my surgery yet.
Now, Isis goes head-to-head with Top Model's Clark.
I think it's the slap in the face and it's saying God made a mistake.
God doesn't make mistakes, and I'm not a mistake.
And a surprise that will change Isis's life forever.
This is not happening.
Plus, one of these former guests was born a boy, and even I didn't know. Wow. Now, on Tyra. Never in the history of America's Next Top Model has there ever been a finalist who was so controversial, so talked about, and so blogged about. If you Google her name and Top Model together, you get more than 400,000 search results. Almost 500,000 search results. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. Isis, check her out. Isis first caught my eye when she showed up in the background of a photo shoot during Cycle 10 of Top Model. This girl is absolutely amazing. And my staff said, Tyra, there's something a little different about that girl. So what's different about that girl?
I was born physically male, but mentally, everything else, I was born female.
Isis. And when she joined the cast for Cycle 11, she wasn't shy about letting everybody know her story.
Transition is kind of like going through puberty. I started out as a kid, and now I'm developing.
Of course, Isis made some people uncomfortable.
The way her body is now in the real world of modeling, I just don't see Isis being booked.
I think it's about time for Isis to go home. Modeling's just not for her.
I wouldn't say the cause is out yet, but the cat might be scratching at the door a little bit at this point.
But she wasn't about to stop being who she is for a second.
I'm here, I'm myself. This is how I've always been. Transition or not, I'm me.
Ultimately, Isis wasn't able to go all the way. But in her brief time on Top Model, she helped us all redefine what beauty really is all about. If you want to be a model, you can, and you're already an inspiration for the gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual community. Okay, good luck.
Thank you. You're so welcome. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to come here and shine. It was so many obstacles, but this experience was wonderful. I feel like I've developed a strong backbone. I want to go out there and make my dreams come true.
Everybody stand up for Isis. Stand on up for Isis. You went home.
Hi, everyone.
I have not seen you since you went home. I like this hair on you.
Thank you.
She's trying to steal my hair.
Go a little better.
We did a photo shoot, Cycle 10 of America's Next Top Model. Now, Isis was not a contestant on Top Model at that time. The theme of the photo shoot was homelessness. I wanted to show that homelessness can happen to anybody. So what we did is we had our top models dressed as homeless girls, and we had real homeless girls dressed in high fashion haute couture. So I'm editing the film of 13 or 14 girls. I edit all the film on Top Model. So I'm in my room editing this film, and I keep seeing this beautiful girl in the background. And she's doing these beautiful poses and all these couture poses. Meanwhile, the girl in the foreground of the picture, the new Top Model girl, is all stiff. But this girl is in the background. Look at that gorgeous shot. I mean, that is like couture. And I said, who the hell is that girl? And then that's when they told me that that girl was not born a girl. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I wanted this girl on Top Model, and they said you weren't born a girl. That picture changed your life, or those pictures changed your life. How did you end up in that photo? Because that means that you were homeless.
At the time, I guess people always think that that was fake, but at the time for a year I was homeless. I was living in an assisted living program, and from there, another program I was in called Reciprocity, they got a call from Top Model, I guess, because they were involved with homeless youth. So they got the call, about having a few girls, and 5 of us, they asked. So of course I wasn't going to turn that opportunity down. I always loved Top Model, so I just went for it.
You went for it, and look what happened. You had no idea that I would be looking at your picture going, oh my God, there's a star in the background. Okay, your name, when you type in your name in top model, almost 500,000 search results come up. What does that feel like?
It's amazing. You know, I went into this experience, and I really thought, or kept out of my head, transgender. You know, I really came here wanting the opportunity like everyone else, and just try to not really think about it because I didn't want that to consume me or believe that that was the reason I was here, because I know it wasn't.
When I look at your face and see these cheekbones and these big eyes and these lashes, I see femininity. So when did you realize that you were different? When you were a little tiny thing and just was like, and not feeling, because when I was a tiny thing, I felt like a girl. You know, when you were a little tiny boy.
I felt like a girl.
You felt like a girl. I love it. Okay, so you felt like a girl. At what age?
Honestly, I'd say born in the wrong body. As long as I can remember, like being a little kid, I've always been envious of the girls because, you know, I would play with them, but then I would get in trouble, you know, or just feeling comfortable being around women, feeling uncomfortable being in a boy like locker room. So I've known my whole life that I was different and that I was a woman. I just didn't know at the beginning, like.
And I know, I understand, like you would go to the bathroom and feel really awkward as a little boy.
Always going to like the stall because I was like, I don't belong in here. So I would always feel uncomfortable.
Now, I know that little girls like to play with dolls. So did you like to play with dolls?
Of course. Well, even though, let me set the record straight, I feel like it's okay for little boys to play with dolls.
It is.
It doesn't make them gay or transgender. You know, they say it makes boys better fathers. But in my case, I've always liked to play with dolls, dress them up, because, you know, I'm a designer too. So dress them up, but I would always get in trouble. So then one day I convinced my mother's boyfriend at the time to get me a female action figure. So,
which action figure was that?
It was Xena at the time. Well, I wanted Storm, but then I got the Xena.
Oh,
you know,
that's very clever.
It was Xena, and like you could take off her clothes. Like she had on another outfit underneath. It was another outfit, but you could take off her, change her outfit. And I was just like, it's an action figure. Can I get it? So from then, you know, I just started collecting all female action figures.
And did
Way
your
to
mom
get around
ever think, like, why is my son collecting all these female action figures?
No, because she knew I was, at the time, I wanted to be a comic book artist. I'm, you know, into illustrations and things like that. So I'm just like,
Very
you know,
clever.
I'm a comic book artist. I like comics. I like toys. So that's the way I got around it.
Now, I know when you were 14 years old, your mother had an office Halloween party. And tell me about that.
My mother had a Halloween party, and I was smart enough to convince her for me to dress up like her. But I made her think it was her idea. So I made her think it was her idea. And I dressed up like her, had on her like 4-inch heels, long wig and everything. And we went there, and, you know, everybody just laughed at it. You know, oh, so cute. And I'm just like, I'm feeling it.
And working the heels and everything.
Of course, nobody didn't think, like, you can walk in heels. They just thought it was funny.
They just thought it was funny.
I'm like, yeah, I've been walking heels for a really long time.
Well, I just want to say that that photo shoot that Isis did, the homeless photo shoot, the season before she was in Top Model, it was freezing cold. So the models would circle in and out, back and forth, like, I'm too cold, I'm going to take a rest. Now tell them what you did.
Okay, so I'm anemic. Of course, you know, I'm really skinny too. And, like, the outfit was very a lot of skin. So I stayed out there the whole 8 hours because I told myself.
How many hours?
8.
8 hours. In the freezing cold, in the winter.
I stayed out there for the 8 hours because I told myself, you never know what can happen from this opportunity. So I just stuck it out, you know, in between Jay and like the photographer. They were like, you know, do you want to take a break? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. No, and then as soon as they're like, are you sure? I'm okay. As soon as they start shooting, I just start posing. And then as soon as it was over, I started shaking.
And I wanted you to tell that story because of the dedication. Transgendered, girl, boy, does not matter. That is dedication, and that will get you someplace. Yeah. We have Isis's mom here. When we come back, we're going to meet her mom. We'll be right back. Up next, I always wondered, like, what does Isis's mom think? Do you ever mourn the son that you lost?
Yeah, I did. I cried for months.
And later, you feel that you're all girl, but you still...
I try not to think about it. I really was born in the wrong body.
I invited somebody here today. The finalist from America's Next Top Model, Cycle 11. Isis made history as the first transgendered contestant on America's Next Top Model. Joining us now is Isis's mom, Sheree, and she's with us. And I really wanted to meet you, and I'm so happy that you're here.
Thank you.
Because I always wondered, what does Isis's mom think? What was her story, and how did she deal with this transition? So, when she told you, Mom, I'm transgender, first of all, where were you? Do you remember?
Let me see. The first day that Isis told me this, I had picked her up from the bus station, and I was waiting to get my younger child out of school. And we were waiting in the car, and Isis said, Mom, something that I wanted to talk to you about. And I thought it would be like, what we're going to do the weekend or something like that. But she actually told me, she said, Mom, I feel that I'm transgender. And at the time, I really didn't know too much about
what that meant, yeah.
People. So
when she said, I feel like I'm a girl inside of my body, what did you feel?
Actually, my first response, I just got really teary-eyed, and I just cried. And then we discussed it, at home later on that day.
After. So what gave you the courage to tell your mom that you were transgender?
Well, I guess, when I decided to move up to New York, I had moved back home from college. I saved up enough money, and when I got the backbone, I went to therapy for a few months. And I got the backbone enough to say, you know what, I'm ready, and whether people like it or not, I'm about to do what I have to do. So I moved myself up there also to pursue my career as a designer and, model and just whatever happens. But so after going up there and already starting to live my life, when I came back, I'm just like, hey.
Time to tell her. What's your birth name, Isis?
Daryl.
Daryl. Okay. So when she told you that she's a woman and started dressing like a woman, I assume, started dressing like a woman and wanted you to call her Isis, did you immediately start doing that? Immediately make that change? No?
No, that's
not at all. What happened, Isis?
She called me D for a while.
D?
Which is actually still better than saying Daryl, but
if me and Isis were in a store or something, I would turn around, and me and Isis may have been the only person in the store, and I'd be like, Daryl, and then a lady or whoever was right there helping us out, they're like, who's she talking to?
And I look back with her.
She's like, Mom, let me just talk. It's like, Mom, let me just talk, because you keep screwing it up, so.
And do you ever mourn the son that you lost? Because there is a loss.
Yeah, I did. I cried for months.
Yeah.
I really did.
I want to show you some pictures of when you were a little boy, which you would not give us on Top Model. You're absolutely adorable.
Oh, look at my baby.
Oh my gosh, how old were you there? Wait, hold on that one. That one, wow.
That boy cute, right?
Yeah, he's really cute. He's actually really cute and very boyish. You're very girlish here, and now in life, even with a washed face with no makeup, I've seen you very girlish. That's a definite boy. On the outside, not on the inside.
I think it was more so okay, I have to take senior pictures. I took them at the end of 11th grade, but it was more so okay, my parents want these pictures. They're going to treasure them. Let me boy it up. and that's what I did for the pictures. Boy it up.
You boyed it up. What does it look like to see the pictures, the baby picture? Let's go back to the baby picture. What does that look like for you, Mom? Or feel like for you?
I treasure those moments. But I look at it like this. I thought about it, and this is who Isis is today, so it doesn't bother me because I still have my child, so.
That's so true.
That's my baby.
And I really admire you for this because I have sat on this couch with so many parents that struggle so much, that love their child so much, but that disown them for beliefs. And it's and I always say, I'm sure your child has done some really, really bad things and cussed you out and called mama, bitch, I don't love you and I hate you. And they don't disown them, and awful, great drugs, all kind of crazy things. But they don't disown them. But for something like this, they disown them. Exactly. And I feel like it's more about the parent than the child, certain embarrassments or disappointments. So I honor you as a mom that you have true unconditional love, because that's what mothers are on this earth for, to have true unconditional love. On Top Model, I don't know what's going on in the house. I only know later when I'm in the editing bay, months later when we finish and I see what's going on. You had a lot of her from some of the girls. And one of the girls that probably gave the most is here today. Clark is here. We'll be right back and talk to Clark. We'll be right back. Up next.
It freaks me out that she got something else different down there. I'll stomp that man right out of the competition.
Now, Clark is here in front of you. And later. 2 years ago, we introduced you to the Beverly Hills Four. Little did we know, or I know, that one of the girls was hiding a shocking secret.
I'm here right now to reveal to you my exclusive truth, and that is,
wow. Next, all new Tyra. Their relationships need some serious help. So, they're letting a jury of peers judge who is right.
I like to have phone sex while I'm at work.
You are even nervous to answer the phone.
I feel dirty. I can't even tell them about my day.
Man needs his needs.
Questions on kids, money, and romance. How often do you have sex?
Twice a month. I need more sex.
And she's in your face, shaking it for you. Why you don't want it?
Next, all new Tyra.
The next name I'm going to call is Isis. You stood out in the background last season, and now you're in the foreground.
I'm proud to be somebody, you know, to represent other people, but I'm coming here for myself because this is something that I really worked hard for and I really, really want it.
The moment when I cast Isis as the first ever transgender finalist on America's Next Top Model was a truly powerful milestone. When you heard me call your name at casting and I said, Isis, you're going to be a part of America's Next Top Model, what went through your body?
Well, I think at that point I was like trying to hold back the tears. When we made the cut to the final 20, you guys didn't see that I was just bawling. I was bawling, so I guess I wanted to hold it back because I was so nervous. I'm like, okay, I made it this far, I gave up my job, you know, I'm homeless. I'm like, what if I don't make it to the 14? So I'm just like, but hold it back, you know, save that for if she called your name.
And then when you made it to the final 14.
I was still trying to hold back. Because I would have like, fell all out. And I'm like, okay, you don't want to do that. So like, just hold it back. And I'm just like, I think I really didn't, it didn't hit me yet.
Yeah. So you had to live with these girls. Girls that I heard you say during the commercial break, you thought it was all happy and hunky-dory. And then you see the show and you're like, what, she called me a what? She said a who? So what did that feel like, seeing that later?
It really hurt me because, for one, I'm not a fake person. You know, I always been myself, whether the camera's rolling or not. And how I felt in front of somebody is how I felt. Me not thinking everyone isn't like that. So, you know, I just saw what happened. It really did hurt me at first.
Okay.
For a quick second.
Well,
for a quick second.
I know Clark is one of the girls that Isis said what she said. Check out Clark on America's Next Top Model, and some other girls not agreeing with Isis. Check it out.
Isis is over the top. America's Next Top Model is not going to be a drag queen. I'm sorry, it's not.
Isis has no place in this competition. I'm not gonna lie, it makes me uncomfortable as hell. It freaks me out that she got something else different down there than me.
I was really thrown back by Isis.
Growing up in the South, you don't exactly run into a he-she every day. You walk around like that in a small town, you get shot.
This is the funniest thing that's in my head. Her like trying to be sexy. Reality is she's a man. She needs some heat to burn off all that hair.
My mind was like, what? Ain't this supposed to be a girl competition? How did you get through the door?
If I have to get along with Isis, I will. But then again, if it comes between me and my goal, I'll stomp that man right out of the competition.
Clark is with us now. I have to ask you, Isis, how did you feel hearing what Clark had to say about you?
I guess, you know, I thought we got along. I don't know if you still feel like that.
Yeah.
But I just didn't really understand, you know, somebody, even now, you know, someone can disagree with something but not be disrespectful or ignorant about it at the same time.
Right.
You know, so. It really hurt me, Clark.
I had absolutely no intentions of hurting you. That's the last thing that I want to do. I think that you, you know, with your situation, I think that's awesome that you're pursuing what you want to do, and I support that. I love you as a person. I just don't agree with your choices. And I think that's so important to clarify because I feel like everybody thinks I hate you. You know, I have so many people coming up to me on the streets like, oh my God, don't you just hate ISIS? I'm like, no, really, I don't. I just don't agree with their choices.
But I just look at it like, okay, disagreeing with something is like, oh, you know, I don't agree with it, fine. When we say I'm gonna stomp that man out of the competition or this he, she, like that's passing the line of disagreeing. That becomes disrespect. And it's like, it's people out there like that is the reason why a lot of trans people, or even people that feel like they're different, you know, hide or can't be who they are because people like that just act so ignorant or does things like that. It's like, I'm not saying you can't agree with it because I don't expect everyone to agree with it, but it's just a line that was crossed.
Clark, I know you say that ISIS says that she was born in the wrong body.
Right.
What do you feel about that?
That is called gender identity disorder, and it's unfortunate that you have to deal with something like that. And I hate it for you, and I hate that you have to deal with all this criticism. But at the same time, you know, I'm from the South. I'm not using that as an excuse, but we don't come in contact with things like this daily. Like, you are who you are. You're born how you are, and you just embrace it. And it was just so hard for me to accept the idea of living with somebody.
Do you feel that people from the South don't have identity? I'm asking a clear question. Do you feel that people in the South don't have gender identity issues?
No, I'm not saying that. It's just, it's not common. You know, if they do, they must keep it to themselves. You don't.
Or they move to New York, LA,
yeah,
San Francisco,
or they move
Detroit,
somewhere,
Miami.
or it's like accepted.
That's what they do. They move away.
Yeah,
But most of my gay friends are from small towns.
But they are.
The transgender ones are too.
Yeah, they are. They just, you know, it definitely exists, but they don't stay in that surrounding.
I agree.
The thing with that, you know, I want to disagree because not all the time do they move. A lot of times people just change who they are, don't let anybody know. You might have worked with a trans person. You know, trans people have always lived. They've always been there since the beginning, you know.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
You just don't know.
We'll be right back. Up next. Isis, I know there were some things that happened that made you look at Clark in kind of like a double standard.
The pool kiss.
So does your church agree that women should kiss women?
Are you a gay man who lost your best girlfriend? If your best friend ditched you because she found a boyfriend, go to tyrashow.com.
Thursday on Tyra. Would you abandon your child on their wedding day?
Girl, when she gets married, wants to have her mother there.
What if it was a gay marriage? I can't. There are so many mothers that will go visit a murderer every single week in jail, but won't go to that one day when their gay child wants to be married.
You don't have to agree with it, just be there.
Can she turn her family around in 3 days? Our cameras are there. Thursday on Tyra.
With Isis and Clark. Clark, what was the scariest thing for you, do you think, living with Isis? Do you think it was dealing with the bathrooms? What was it for you?
Living with Isis was just an adjustment. You know, going from being at school, living with all girls, and to Isis, you know, pre-op, I was concerned, like, oh my gosh, is there going to be like a shower situation or changing or something like that, which there wasn't, but I was just freaked out about it. And, you know, growing up in the South, I'm Southern Baptist, and I'm, you know, a strong Christian. And I thought that whenever Isis said that she was transgendered and decided to change genders, that kind of was like a slap in the face to me, because I'm thinking, okay, well, you were born this way. It's kind of saying like God made a mistake, you know? And I thought that was a little offensive.
So do you think God makes a mistake with gay people too?
No, I mean, that's just how they are. But, you know, with Isis,
what are you saying? God doesn't make mistakes?
No, he doesn't.
Can I answer that?
God doesn't make mistakes.
God doesn't make. What about a baby born with a disease, HIV or cancer?
I mean, everything happens that's unfortunate. You know, evil things happen, bad things happen. That's not God doing it, though.
Okay,
So God made a mistake when Isis was born, but not a mistake if a baby is born sick? I don't understand. I'm just trying to understand.
I'm just saying that I think by Isis deciding that her biological self is not how she should be. I think it's a slap in the face, and it's basically saying God made a mistake.
Okay, Isis, what do you want to say?
Okay, so for the record, I'm a Christian. You know, I don't put it on blast or every few minutes I don't say I'm a Christian, but I am a Christian. I do consider myself spiritual. And I also believe that God don't make mistakes.
Right.
Case in point. You know, for me to have to go through all of my life's struggles and for me to, you know, deal with things like I do you think like I would make the choice to do that? Like it's something that's natural to me, you know? So I wouldn't just say, oh, I'm going to do this if I don't feel like that's who I really am. God doesn't make mistakes, and I'm not a mistake. This is the way I am.
There were some things that happened at the house that made you look at some of the other girls or look at Clark in kind of like double standard.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? I don't know what that is. What was that?
The pool kiss with Alina.
What happened?
Like when,
I remember that. Yeah.
How could we forget that?
So tell me what happened. Remind everybody what happened.
I guess it was just like we played truth or dare in the pool, and Alina had an obvious crush on Clark. So they end up kissing, and I'm just like, you say all these things about me or what's not right and this and that, and even if it's just for a quick second, it's like, it's
I have
still
to challenge Miss Southern Baptist on that one.
You know, there's always people that are gonna disagree with you. There are always people that are gonna agree with you, and you've got to be true to yourself.
So does your Southern Baptist Church agree that women should kiss women?
Oh, I mean, I haven't sat in front of a panel of them and asked them that question.
Do you think they would agree with that part?
The hot tub kiss between me and Lena it basically came out of a big joke that Lena had this really big crush on me and Sheena, and I was kind of freaked out by it, but just decided to make a big joke of it because what are you going to do in that situation?
What are you going to do?
I mean, no, you've got to make the best of each situation. And Lena had an obvious crush on me, and instead of being freaked out about it, and I just tried to just kind of be like, ah, ha, ha, and it was a dare. And I mean, I don't back down from dares, so it's all that.
Clark, why don't you just say, you know what, it's a really big double standard, and it's just a big double standard. Just say that. You don't think it's a double standard? And by all means, you guys are both my children. I'm your godmama to both of you guys. But I think that when you watch this show on a tape or a DVD or whatever they call them these days, a DVD or whatever, and you play it back, I don't think you're going to be happy with what you're saying. You understand? Because it is a double standard. And it's saying, okay, this is not okay and this is okay. And in a lot of churches, both are just as much of an abomination.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So I think by you having that kiss in that hot tub, hopefully when you watch this show and you live your life and you go to more places than just where you're from, it'll open your eyes. Hopefully that experience that you had in that hot tub will open your eyes. I'm not telling you to be a lesbian. By no means am I saying that, but what I'm saying is you did something that a lot of people in church would excommunicate you for doing. We'll be right back.
The Tyra Show website got a makeover. There's new features for beauty and fashion and web-exclusive clips you will not see on the show.
Aren't you super cool? You came to the website.
Go to TyraShow.com now. Next, all new Tyra.
Their relationships need some serious help. So, they're letting a jury of peers judge who is right.
I like to have phone sex while I'm at work.
You are even nervous to answer the phone. I feel dirty. I can't even tell them about my day.
Man needs his needs.
Questions on kids, money, and romance. How often do you have sex?
Twice a month. I need more sex.
And she's in your face, shaking it for you. Why you don't want it?
Next, all new Tyra.
The top model finalist who's had everybody Googling and blogging about her. Our first transgender finalist on America's Next Top Model, Isis. So Isis, what does it feel like as because you feel that you're all girl, but you're a pre-op, right? It's called pre-op transgendered person, which means you still have penis. You still have, sorry. That's a real word.
I still have
the part.
I didn't have my surgery yet.
Oh, there we go. She didn't have her surgery yet. So how does that feel? Because it's like you're a woman, but then there's something every day that you have to see and go, I'm inside a woman, and everything else is just...
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. I really try not to really think about it. I try not to think about it on the show.
On Top Model. Oh, come here.
I try not to think about it because it is something I'm really passionate about. And I feel like I really was born in the wrong body. And, you know, it's just the one thing that makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah. And on the show, I know that was really extra hard for you, too, because
it was.
Certain girls have to worry about smiling with their eyes, be fierce. And you're like, okay, I'm trying to do that, but I'm in a swimming pool in a bikini and having to hide that. And, you know, it's funny, when I was on the show with you, I never thought of it as, like, emotional. I thought of it as more technical. I didn't know that there was this emotion.
I think, honestly, more so it was more emotional, because technically, like, you know, you could do what you have to do. I did that, but it was more mental. You know, it was more going through the situations, the pool for the first time, you know, or different things. It was just
having to deal with that. Yeah, I could see the worry, like, on your face and dealing with that. And look at that.
It's like, I feel like I was happy because I actually conquered it. You know, like, of course, that's the shot that got me sent home, but at least, you know, I conquered it.
That's interesting that that was the photo that got you sent home, because there was so much worry in your eyes. It was almost like your eyes were dead almost, and you have such light in your eyes, but they were dead, and now I know why.
I'm like, this was my perfect smile with your eyes. I'm good with my eyes, and that was the one.
Yeah, because there were so many other things you were worrying, things popping out, things happening. I understand. No, I understand. Why haven't you gotten the surgery?
It's like, it costs a lot of money.
How much money does it cost?
Between like $20,000 and $35,000.
$20,000 and $35,000.
It costs a lot of money, but, you know, I feel like I'm going to go far with my career, and, you know, after I actually get my foot in the door, I feel like it won't be as hard to save my money.
Well, Isis, I really care about you a lot, and I know that the surgery means a lot to you, a lot. And I invited somebody here today that I want you to meet.
Okay.
Okay. She's like, what's going on? Come on out. You know who that is, right? Hi. Have a seat.
Thank you.
I think Isis recognizes who this person is. She's a very famous person. You actually are one of, I wouldn't even say one of, but the leading gender reassignment surgeons. Her name is Dr. Marcy Bowers. Very, very, very famous doctor. I've known about you for years.
Thank you.
And you actually have experienced the surgery yourself?
Yes, it's a little known fact, quite in the past, and I consider myself a woman, but I did in fact
Isn't that trippy? She's a girl, right? Like, I truly believe this born in the wrong body thing, because it's all up on the couch right now. You have some news for Isis. What news do you have for Isis?
Well, I just want to say your story really touches my heart, and I saw you actually first on MSNBC, I think, is that right? And but I can relate to you, and I know how much difference that surgery can make in your life and improves things for the better. So what I want to do is evaluate you for the processes of going through the surgery.
Okay.
And if I can get the money together, I'd like you to come out, assuming you want me to do your surgery. I want to do this for you.
Thank you. What'd you say?
This is not happening.
This is not happening. How do you feel?
It doesn't feel like it's like I'm about to wake up.
Yeah?
I'm about to wake up. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well,
for you.
You're welcome. We've introduced you to Dr. Marcy, and this is your decision, your time. It's not pressure from us at all. Oh. You were ready?
Time is like 5 years ago.
Okay.
We're behind schedule.
All right. And I'd be honored to follow your journey. Would you allow us to follow your journey? You would? Are you serious? Thank you. Give me a hug. Give me your hand. Yes. Thank you.
Are you a gay man who lost your best girlfriend? If your best friend ditched you because she found a boyfriend, go to TyraShow.com.
Okay, now listen to this, everybody. 2 years ago on a Tyra show called It Girl, we introduced you to the Beverly Hills Four. They're like this all-female clique who consider themselves the ultimate Hollywood socialites, kind of like the Paris Hilton clique. They're like that. But little did we know, or I know, that one of the girls on that show was hiding a shocking secret from me and my producers. This is how it all started. Check it out. The Beverly Hills Four were searching for a fifth member, and they brought 2 finalists to our show. One of those finalists was an attractive young woman named Kara.
I love to just go out and have a banging good time. Get up there and shake the badonkadonk.
So you like that. Kara didn't make the cut that day, and I sensed something inside her that I couldn't help reacting to. What I see in you, even though you're saying I want to keep it positive and all that, I see somebody that is very vulnerable, and I don't know your past, but I can tell there's something inside of you that wants to be validated. I feel like there might be some self-esteem issues and some other stuff. So this is Kara again with totally different hair. Love the short hair. Now, I remember that day I was almost this desperation that you had. I want to be a part of them. I want to be accepted by these girls. I have to. And it was scaring me. We didn't have time to show all of it, but that was scaring me. Today you're coming clean. What was it that I saw?
At that time, I was withholding a secret from you, the producers, the staff, the Beverly Hills Four, and everyone I was acquainted with in LA. And it was something at the time that I felt was very sacred, and I was at a very vulnerable place. But I'm here right now to reveal to you my exclusive truth, and that is I'm a transgendered woman.
Wow.
But I'm a young woman, but...
Yeah, you're only 23 years old. You're a baby.
I'm only 23 years old.
Transgendered. So I remember I kept looking in your eyes and saying, I see vulnerability. I see the desperate need to belong. You know, and that's what it was. You wanted to be so a part of those girls, to be in that clique, because that would validate femininity, or what was that?
You hit the nail on the head, I must say. I mean, at that time, I was very vulnerable. I would say I was trying to find my niche in life, and I really didn't know what that was, so I thought I could seek it out through clubbing, partying, and just really exploring the Hollywood nightlife. But what I didn't realize was that I wasn't really prospering with my future and what I really needed to do with my life, and really seek solace and peace within myself. And I had to literally black out before I could see the light.
How is it dating for you?
Oh my gosh, it's very challenging. It's very hard, because when you go on a date with somebody, you don't know, should I initiate the conversation with exposing my truth?
And recently, there was a guy that was found who seemed comfortable with Kara's history, and they got together for a date just the other day. Y'all want to see it? Yeah, check it out.
I used to be in the financial industry, and ever since the financial meltdown, I've definitely learned that you got to live in the moment, take opportunities when they come, and just have an experience.
I got to the restaurant first. I looked out and viewed a few guys, and I was thinking, is it this one? Is it that one? Suspense was driving me crazy.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Kara. When Ryan showed up, I was just ecstatic. Oh my gosh, this is just so surreal. He just looked amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm a little bit nervous right now. Things were going really well before our meals arrived. I'm from Ohio.
Yeah, me too.
Oh wow, what a small world. It was around that time I realized I had to break the ice and see where things stood. I was uncertain how much Ryan really knew about me. I just wanted to kind of reassure myself that you are aware of my past.
From what I did here, I was comfortable with it. And
I really wanted to know how Ryan felt before I took things to the next level. You know, I find it really challenging to find guys that, you know, accept dating a transsexual woman, even though I identify as a woman.
She just put it all out there, and it was a lot to hear, and you know, I was quiet then and processing a lot in my mind.
They feel the word transsexual is synonymous with being homosexual, and I don't think they know how to really fathom or cope with that.
As far as it being gay, I wouldn't say that it's gay. The situation's not 100% heterosexual. Maybe it's a new area of sexuality.
He
I have no idea.
was totally cool with everything, and that was beyond a huge relief for me. After we broke the ice, we decided to, take a walk in the park, and it was really nice, serene, and romantic.
I was able to, just kind of live in the moment and just treat her as a person and not think about her past or who she used to be.
I would definitely love to go on a second date with Ryan. But I'm really glad that you've been completely open-minded. See where it leads.
See where it leads. So Ryan, how did you feel like when she just told you her story?
I mean, like I said, it was a lot to hear, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I've never met anyone who's transgender, and I'm open to new experiences, and definitely was looking forward to meet her, and if anything, it would make a great story, so.
You're very hot. Very hot. So, second date, y'all going on a second date?
Yeah, I think it would be a good experience.
Yeah.
It could be fun. Kara's a great person.
Oh, open-minded males. This is 2008. We'll be right back.
Hey Tyra fans, if you're in New York City and want to come join me for the fun and excitement of a live Tyra Show studio taping, go to tyrashow.com for free tickets now. Holla!
Closed captioning and other consideration for the Tyra Banks Show provided by... So, Isis, very excited to follow you on your journey. And thank you for being brave enough to show everybody what it's about. And Dr. Bowers, thank you so much for making Isis's dream come true. Come true, come true, come true. You guys can catch Dr. Bowers in a new series called Sex Change Hospital, airing Tuesday nights at 11 p.m. on WeTV. Wow, I'm watching that. And we heard a lot from Isis about things that she never talked about in the Top Model House. But if you want to hear even more from Isis, go to tyrashow.com for an exclusive backstage interview with Isis. And we'll see you later.